Dragons Live, presented by Form Communications.
Hello everyone, I'm John Webby Webking and welcome to Dragons Live. We've got a great show for you today. Our focus is recapping the freshly finished fall season, which concluded earlier this month. We went down to cross-country nationals in Florida to cover the men's team's best finish ever and Molly's All-American run. We'll play the most disgusting game we've ever played on this show with the men's cross-country team. We've got a jaw-dropping Dragons Live top 5 and, of course, the best highlights since our last show. Stay tuned for the whole show. It's a great one. To get us started tonight, our guest in studio led his team to the best finish since 1999, including capturing all 3 traveling trophies and a second-place finish in the NSIC North. Join me in welcoming Dragons Live studio, Coach Steve Lockway. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, great to be here.
Give us a quick recap on this season, which 7-4, an improvement over the 6 wins last year. Just seeing that continual improvement. What happened this season that continued that progress for Dragons football?
Well, I think a combination of some good recruiting classes that we've put together over the years. They've redshirted, they've started to grow, develop within the system, and so I think you start to see some of that young talent start to mature a little bit more. I think just a reinforcement of our culture and how we're doing things and how we're going about winning. I think time has been on our side. We've been doing the things that winners do. You do them long enough, eventually you begin to win, and so I think there are some good things that have went in place. Certainly we got a lot of great individual performances and team performances that got us to this point, but happy with where our program is right now.
And records, trophies, the broken record of the Dragon football coaching staff is do things that have never been done before. And this year, those things were done in collecting all those traveling trophies. What does it mean for the program in getting more recruits down the road by having this continued success?
Well, I think it's huge when you know, we've always tried to stress, just keep getting better. Better today than yesterday, better tomorrow than today. And so that kind of attitude of continuing to get better has only allowed us to continue to just to build. And I think when you look at recruiting and you can see a steady increase over the 6 years that we've been here, if you look back and really can say, wow, they've done a lot of things that have never been done before. Wow, this group is sitting at basically a 20-year high as far as best record, back-to-back winning seasons. And you know, if you were in the stock market, you would really take note of something at a 20-year high. So I think all those things play positive parts for us recruiting, which just continues to feed the cycle of getting better and better.
In your interview post-game of the Northern game, you mentioned the line being a huge part. We saw jaw-dropping offensive numbers in that game, but in our recruiting shows, we've talked about those recruiting classes coming in and really seen an emphasis on the line. Talk about those unsung heroes who have been solid for you, both offensive and defensively this year.
Well, I think our offensive line, you know, with a couple of redshirt freshmen starting and playing the whole season, and Isaac Ripplinger and Nathan Belisle, you've got a redshirt sophomore in there with Andrew Erickson, and you just look at that group and go, wow, okay, there's some positive things coming into the future. You go on the flip side in the D-line, and you got guys like Jake Bussey and Ryan Dowling that played great football, but we know that to get deep into the playoffs, to get yourself to a conference championship, the guys in the trenches have to play at a high level, and they've got to be big guys, they've got to be athletic, they've got to be tough, they've got to be strong and fast. And so that's been an area of focus in our recruiting and continue to be an area because that is something that's at the core of being able to win championships.
The streak you guys went on towards the end of the season, 40-some against Northern, 40 Mary, Minot. You had 4 games in a row with 40-plus points, the first time that's ever happened in Dragon football history. What makes this Dragon offense click so well?
Well, I think obviously Damon makes a lot of things go really well. He had a phenomenal season, but you also look and go, okay, well, we got to get somebody that throws the football to him. I think Demetrius played great football down the stretch. Our offensive line gave him time, but we also balanced that with the running attack, and so we were versatile. We spread the ball around, so I think all of those play into it. I think what people don't also see is the increased play of our defense allows quicker stops to get the ball back sooner, more times, and in better field position. So it all is a combination to having some great offensive numbers.
And you talked about Gibson. He was the HeroSports.com Offensive Player of the Year. Now he's up for the Harlan Hill Award. Talk about what that award means, just to be in the mention of that award.
Well, Harlan Hill, for those that don't know, is basically the Heisman Trophy of Division II. And so to be recognized as someone that's even worthy to be considered for that award, I think is phenomenal. It says a lot about him and the season he had, but I think also in the teammates that surround him on both sides of football that helped him do that. And so I think certainly is exciting for our program. It's exciting for him. We're glad that we've got him back for another year. And when you really look from last year to this year, a year ago he wasn't even an all-conference player. Now we're talking about him being, one of the top players in the nation. What can he do with another year to improve? And so I think that'll be fun. I mean, people need to recognize he's only been a wide receiver for 3 years.
Right.
So his upside's still huge, and hopefully we continue to grow and see another breakout season on top of this 1 year from now.
And we've got a lot of seniors recognized: Corey, Ryan, Aaron, Dylan, Jack, Nick, Daniel, the 2 Jakes, Analak and Hodge, Jeremiah, Jimmy, Zach, and Lane. What has this group meant to Dragon football?
Well, it's more than words can say. These guys came to a football program that wasn't very good at the time, but they came with the same dream that we had, the same resolve and resiliency to stay the course and move the program to higher heights than it ever has been. And this group came in and they pushed it to a 20-year high. And so I think that takes a special person, takes a special character and resolve that not a lot of people have. And so I think we'll always be indebted to them as a program, because it did start pushing us into that winning cycle, and winning and losing are both vicious cycles, and I think we've gotten ourselves into the winning side of the cycle.
Last question real quick before we let you go. I know you'd like to enjoy a victory, but you got to get right back to work and working on the recruiting class that we're going to talk about in our February signing day special. What are the goals for Dragon football in this year's recruiting class to look forward to? Well,
we've continued every year to establish a line of what's acceptable, and it kind of went from 4-7 to a winning record to 8-3, and we have to find guys that fit who we are, that can get us to the next level and win championships and get ourselves into the playoffs. And so that'll be an area of focus for sure. We look at the depth defensively. It's got to continue to grow, I think, on the back end, just with some graduation, some position moves, corners and free safeties. We definitely got to do a good job there. We got to look into the future on some other positions and make sure that we do that. And we got to fill our fullback role, which has kind of evolved through the season. And so that's not been a need area in the past. It is this year.
Well, thank you, Coach, for joining us today on Dragons Live. We really appreciate it, and congrats on a great year.
Thank you.
Now to the football recap. The team finished the season on a 4-game winning streak and got the team's best 7-win season since 1999. On October 29th, they took on Minot State at home. Here, Demetrius Carr hooks up with, guess who? Damon Gibson for a 37-yard touchdown pass, put the Dragons up 21-10 late in the second. Minot pulled within 11. Here's a TD from Weed to Watkins in the fourth quarter. The Dragons would pull away from the Beavers. From there, Carr to Broughton, the 74-yard hookup all the way to the end zone would seal the win. Carr finished the day with 277 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. Next, the Dragons were on the road at Bemidji State, pulling out a nail-biter 42-41 against a tough Beaver squad. Carr was 26 of 42, throwing for 366 yards and 4 touchdowns. Stone carried the ball 23 times for 110 and 1 TD. Ambrose, 8 receptions for 145 and a touchdown. Gibson, 7 receptions for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Battle Axe returns home to Nemzik with that win. Back at home to finish the season against Northern State, Carr finds, guess who? Again, Damon Gibson. 57-yard touchdown puts the Dragons up 6-0. The Wolves took the lead on a 6-yard touchdown run as Kelly dives for the pylon. Wolves hanging in there. Zach Sweep would get a couple short yard touchdowns to put the Dragons up for good. Carr's career day would continue with this 51-yard touchdown pass to Corey Ambrose. Really wide open there. Carr finished with 507 yards and 5 touchdowns. Coming up, we'll take you down to Tampa, Florida with the Cross Country Nationals right after this.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. journalists bringing the story home every day.
Welcome back to Dragons Live. 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to head down to Tampa, Florida to cover our Dragons at the NCAA Division II Cross Country Championships. Here's head coach Ryan Milner, top men's finisher Josh Young, and now four-time All-American Molly Montoni.
Race, we came in with high expectations, looking for a top, 13, 14, 15 type finish. Things ended up a little rougher than that with, heat, hills, some guys dealing with some cramping and the remainder of an illness. One of the things that I've talked to them about throughout the season is we've developed as a program, even when we're off, somebody steps up and helps us out. And we saw that with a few guys today. And as the team has gotten better, even when we're off, we're a much better team than we have been previously, and that's what we want to do with the program. One of the things we gauge ourselves against a little bit is, how are we viewed externally? And then coming in, we weren't even ranked in the country, so to come in and finish 21st and have a rough day, I think is a sign of a better thing to come.
And then talk about the women's race and Molly.
Molly's race was exactly the one we laid out. It's the one she's been running all season long. Started fairly conservative pacing and then just moved throughout the entire race. I think with the hills and the heat and the conditions here, that plan really served her pretty well. One of the things about Molly is she's been to a lot of championships before, and that benefited her experience here. She showed a lot of poise in her first cross-country championship, and it was great to see her earn her first cross-country All-American.
And then just talk about the seniors for the cross-country program and what they've meant to you and to the development of the system.
The program, you don't do it without the guys like that, and that was a conversation I had a lot of them when that recruiting process started 4 or 5 years ago with them. This is what we want to do, this is what we want to achieve, and it's going to be on your shoulders to make it happen. As a coach, you can kind of talk about the things, but you rely on the athletes to make it happen. And each and every one of them have been exceptional at doing that.
Good race today. How'd the course treat you?
It was warm. Not a lot of fun to race on this today.
What were the strategy going into the race for you?
Just wanted to go out conservatively and then try to build the race and pass people. I was passing people pretty much the whole race.
And then you had a really strong finish. What were you feeling towards the end, and what was it like to finish at Nationals?
Just had to finish it. At 1K to go, I just had 3 minutes left of racing, so just pushed through and had to get a break.
How do you think the team did today?
I think we did all right. I think the heat kind of might have got to us, because we're not used to anything close to this type of weather.
And just talk about the seniors for a second, what they've meant to you and guiding you through the program.
They've been really good influences. They have great work ethics. They lead by example. They're always there to support you. They're just good teammates to have. We'll miss them next season.
Tell me a little bit about the race today and how you think you did.
It was hot and hilly, but we kind of expected that coming to Florida. I wasn't used to the conditions compared to back home, but I think I did about as well as I could have done, especially, like I said, with the conditions and it just being my first national meet. The first meet's kind of the toughest when you come to such a big competition.
But your first national meet?
For cross country.
For cross country.
It's actually my 6th national meet.
Right, and now your senior year, but you get it in an All-American status. How does that feel?
It feels really good, especially last year breaking my foot and kind of dealing with the issues coming off of that. I couldn't be happier to be here, and I'm just really excited that I was able to get back into the shape, and even better shape than I was in last year before it happened. And I am excited, just, a little disappointed I missed out on top 15, but I got top 20 and I really can't complain about that.
And I guess kind of sum up your cross-country career here at MSUM.
Well, I actually didn't have cross-country in high school, so it was a new experience for me my freshman year. I've definitely enjoyed it. I kind of wish I could have had the experience earlier on, but I guess I was lucky too. I got to do it a 5th year, or 4.5, I guess, if you count last year's meets. And overall, it's been a really fun experience, and I'm glad I chose to do it here at MSUM with Coach Milner, and looking forward to track.
I'd like to thank the team for putting up with me all weekend. They're a great bunch. And if you'd like more coverage, there's also a photo album on the Cross Country Facebook page of all my favorite pictures from Nationals. But we're not done yet with our cross country team. I grabbed whomever was willing to partake in a little fun before training really kicked up for Nationals. Here's the men's team, tasting Bean Boozled.
Socks are tutti frutti.
What do you guys think?
God, I hope it's Snoopy.
That's disgusting.
And you have either what, buttered popcorn?
Buttered popcorn or rotten egg.
All right.
Is there
three.
actually good ones in here?
Yeah, there are. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Tutti frutti.
Yeah.
That's rotten egg. Oh, cheers. Oh. Toothpaste. Yeah.
Toothpaste is not that bad.
No.
They
Yeah.
both got toothpaste. Wow.
Rock on.
It's probably too.
Oh, par for peach.
Baby wipes your coconut. I hate coconut.
Ready?
Oh.
Berry.
Oh my god.
I'm guessing that was barf.
Ow.
We've got a lot more coming up on Dragons Live, including more highlights, athletes of the week, and of course, a can't miss Dragons Live Top 5. Stay tuned.
Exceeding expectations. Getting better every day. It doesn't happen by chance. Preparation pays off. So the only question to ask yourself is, am I better today than I was yesterday? Exceed yesterday. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to Dragons Live. Now let's get you caught up on all of our athletes of the week from the last month. The week of October 24th was soccer keeper Reagan Von Berg and football wide receiver Hunter Broughton. Halloween week featured defensive back Grant Rewer and cross country's Mackenzie Smith. November 7th, swimmer Bria Anderson and defensive lineman Ryan Darlene. And our most recent 2 basketball standouts, Drew Sanders and Ayub Booyah Ayub. And those are your athletes of the week, presented by the Courtyard by Marriott. Now let's get you caught up on all the action in Dragonland over the last month, starting with Dragons Soccer, who finished out the 2016 season at the end of October with a loss to number 11 ranked Minot State 2-0 and a loss to UMary 3-0. And Christy Chappell's first season as the head coach of the Dragons finished 3-14. To Dragon Volleyball, who finished the month of October on the road at number 3 ranked Concordia St. Paul and lost in straight sets 3-0. The next night, they put up a good fight against Minnesota State Mankato, but fell short in the 5th set, falling 3-2. On November 4th, the Sioux Falls Cougars came to Nemzik and the Dragons came ready to play and took the first set 25-20 with that kill from Carly Meslowski. After trading wins in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th sets, the Dragons were determined to beat the Cougars. Selbichka with the kill and Liesmeyer with the block in the 5th set. Meslowski would secure the match with a big kill, 13 kills and 5 blocks assists on the night. Wenzel finished the night with 25 assists and 9 digs. The following night proved to be a bit tougher for the Dragons against number 4 ranked Southwest Minnesota State Mustangs. The Dragons battled tough in the first set, but the Mustangs would go on to a late run to win 25-19. They would keep battling with a kill from Sarah Hagler here, and then an upcoming block from Selbichka and Liesmeyer to take set 2. The Mustangs proved, unfortunately, too much horsepower. Get it? They go on to win 3-1. Volleyball finished out the 2016 season on the road and battling hard against number 8 Wayne State, but ultimately losing the 5th set and the match 3-2. And the final match of the season was at Augie. The Dragons fell 3-0, finishing with a record of 10-18 and 5-15 in the NSIC. With all the fall sports wrapping up their seasons in November, that could only mean one thing: winter sports season is taken off. Let's get started with swimming and diving. Swimming and diving was home on October 29th with dual win against Augustana, 187-75. Top Dragon performers include Aaron Sullivan, who set a new pool record in the 200 backstroke. The Dragon 400 medley relay also set a pool record, with Sullivan setting a 100 backstroke pool record split in that event. Sophomore Taylor Bainan also set a pool record in the 400 IM. Keyed by a big night from several freshmen, the team rolled to a 191-60 win over Concordia College in front of a capacity crowd. Mintia Nyland had a big night for MSUM, winning 3 events. Freshman Leticia Rodavallo was also a multi-event winner and won both the 200 butterfly and the 500 freestyle. Swimming and diving headed on the road for the remainder of the month, starting at the St. Thomas Invite. Beinan had a big day again, winning the 1650 free in 18:16:43, which is the second best all time. The Dragons finished third at the Invite. Despite 2 wins from Beinan, the Dragons fell to the Mavericks 186-114. MSUM moved to 6-5 in duels. They won 17 of the 18 events on their way to a dominating victory at the Gustavus Adolphus Invite on the 19th. Beinan won 3 events, and Madison Kunzia and Ashley Higgins won 2 events each. Swim and Dive is at the Rochester Invite this weekend before heading to Puerto Rico for their annual winter training trip, and if they need a media guy, give me a call. To wrestling, the first was the Bison Open at Shields Arena. Blake Bosch claiming the 133-pound title. Adam Blees finished third at 174. Nader Abdulatif was fourth at the 285 mark, and Austin Skillings took fourth as well at 157. The wrestling team fell to non-conference rival Concordia College 21-15 in a duel at Concordia's Memorial Auditorium. The match was tied at 15 all with 2 weights remaining before the Cobbers won both those matches to secure the win. On the 19th, the Dragon wrestlers competed at 2 events. Bosch and sophomore Jarrett Goldsmith both placed top 4 at the Nebraska Kearney Holiday Inn Open down in Nebraska, while several Dragons placed at the Finn Griniker Open hosted by Concordia College. On the 22nd, wrestling hosted their first duel of the season against Northland Community and Technical College. The Dragons got a ton of pins plus some open weight wins as well. Pins coming from all over the place. Christian Vasquez, Dylan Connell, Isaac Novacek, Cody Anderson, and big man heavyweight Nader Abdulatif all getting pins for the Dragons, who would go on to sweep the duel and get the win 54-0. Next up for wrestling is the Dragon Open coming up this Sunday. Home against Augsburg on the 8th and off to Vegas for the Vegas duels on the 19th. Women's basketball started their season with a couple of long road trips. First to Kansas to take on Harding University. The Dragons would go down to start their year, 62-54. Next, they were at the Quincy Holiday Classic facing home team Quincy. Cass Thorson, Drew Sanders, and Jackie Volkert all scored in double digits, paired with a dominant defensive effort, helping the Dragons roll to a 73-44 win in non-conference action. Their Dragon defense has been the story so far this year, once again holding Maryville to 34% shooting while forcing 17 turnovers, finishing the weekend with a sweep 61-42 over Maryville. Before Thanksgiving break, they had their first home game of the season against Valley City. Cass Thorson gets the steal and races to the hoop for the layup and one. Santa's working down low, raises above her defender and hits the bucket there. Jackie Volkert working one-on-one, makes the move to the right and hits the shot off the glass. Textbook basketball. She finished with 16 points. Dragons win 65-51. They started NSIC action on Saturday at Northern State. This one was a defensive battle as the Wolves missed a shot and Megan Hintz misses there. Dragons would get going. Sanders to Hintz down low for the lay-in. Pretty pass. Sanders hits a big 3 here to give the Dragons a lead and an edge. 51-44, the Dragons come out with a close victory. Cass Thorson had 18 points. Sanders had 15 and Hintz had 13. It's their first win at Northern since 2012. Men's basketball started the season at home with a couple of exhibition games versus Winnipeg and St. Thomas before heading on the road to the Crown Plaza Classic, where they would beat Harding University 84-78 and lose to Southern Nazarene 91-87. The men continued on the road, winning a pair at Michigan against Northern Michigan and Michigan Tech. A lot of Michigans there. On the 22nd, they took on the Cobbers and had 9 players score in the first half, on the way to a 107-74 win over the beanie-wearing rivals. Senior forward Ayub led all Dragons with 23 points. The Dragon men also started NSIC action against Northern on Saturday, and it was a thriller. Dragons go out early to the lead with a bucket there by Matt Anderson, who had a great game. There's Tanner Kretschmann driving to the hoop, getting the nice and easy layup. But the Wolves wouldn't give up, cutting the lead down with the ball. Here's Steve DeStatio with the call.
Arvidsson was off balance. Kretschmann has it across midcourt. He'll fire from 35 for the win. Got it! Tanner Kretschmann just hit it. His time expired. And the Dragons beat Northern State.
Wow, what a shot. Watched that 1,000 times. I was actually there for the game. Incredible. The Dragon men and women's basketball teams have their first home NSIC clashes this weekend, with UMary and Minot coming to town. Women at 6 and the men at 8 on Friday against Mary. On Saturday, the women play at 4 and the men at 6 against Minot. You can watch all 4 games on MSUMDragons.com, WDAY.com, or right here on WDAY's Extra. Now it's time for Dragons swimming and diving. Danica and Danae Sheaf to take on the Papa John's teammate game.
I'm Danae Sheaf. I'm a part of the women's swim and dive team here, and I'm a senior this year, and I'm studying elementary education.
I'm Danica Sheaf. I also am a part of the swim and dive team. I'm a senior, and I'm studying elementary education. It's football. It's the very last game. The end of the year. You're terrible.
Okay.
That's bad. Wrestling, when they get their shoulders on the
pin.
Yes. Hockey, they play for the
Stanley Cup.
Blake Bosch is a
wrestler.
And there's 4 of them hanging on the wall in the pool.
Oh, we did not do very
you
good.
only got 2.
It's big and white, and
Polar bear.
Yep. Whoo!
Ow.
Molly O'Brien loves these.
Turtles.
Oink, oink.
Pig.
They're pink and they like to stand on one leg.
Flamingo.
They're black and white.
Panda.
It's also black and white and it stinks.
Skunk.
The other one was Komodo dragon. That's the one I put at the back.
It's kind of like canoeing.
Rowing.
In a boat. And they had to wear full body wetsuits.
Kayaking?
No. Ooh, Todd did one of these.
Marathon or triathlon.
Marathon, but what do we do?
Swim.
It's with horses. It's a hard one. When we were little, we had one of these.
You're not very good at giving clues.
You're just not very good at guessing.
No, I definitely think it's you. He leads Santa's sleigh.
Rudolph.
He's on SpongeBob. He's
Patrick.
the crabby one.
Squidward.
He has a Snoopy, a dog, and he has shows about Christmas tree. He's yellow, and his wife is Marge, and his son is Bart.
That's it.
Stick around, you won't want to miss the Dragons Live Top 5. That's next.
For expanded regional news, watch something extra. For extended weather coverage, watch something extra. The news at 9, weeknights on WDAY's Extra. Extra news, extra weather, extra features that fit your schedule. Unique stories, fresh perspective, extra fast. Extra, the first word for 9 o'clock news. There's always something extra. Weeknights on WDAY's Extra News at 9.
Welcome back to Dragons Live. Our very own AD Doug Peters is always fired up about something. Let's see what he's working on in this week's Doug's Desk.
Hey, I'm fired up. You're joining me for this week's segment of Doug's Desk, and what a awesome weekend. It was unbelievable. The defense the women's basketball team played, and shout out to Cassie Thorson for being played the Northern Sun's North Player of the Week in their win over Northern State. And hey, on the men's side, Tanner Kretschmann, that guy's never going to miss 3 shots in a row when the game is on the line. It's not only been men's and women's basketball, phenomenal starts for wrestling. Hey, Blake Bosch, you're fired up. And so are you, Taylor Bynum. If you can be fired up in the pool, you are on fire right now, having won 3 straight races. That is fantastic. We're excited to see what's going to come out of the rest of the winter sports season. At the same time, in case you can't tell, kids, I'm not in Moorhead. Hey, you've got to take care of your mental health just like you have to take care of your physical health. It's something Dragon Athletics buys into, and it's something the NSIC buys into. As part of the NSIC Stands Together initiative, our Student Athlete Advisory Committee has a couple events that are happened. On Tuesday night, we played a little bit of bingo just for our student athletes to get them an opportunity just to get out, relax, have fun, maybe win some prizes. And then on Wednesday, we had Wind Down Wednesday, where we handed out tips on how to relieve stress. And of course, we had to have a stress ball. Relax, you're a dragon. Hey, as we head into the holiday season, we also want to help other people. We're fired up that our Student Athlete Advisory Committee will be out at Shields on 45th Street as part of the Mascot Challenge. We are the defending champions. It's always fun to beat the Cobbers and the Bison. And we encourage you to come out, support the Salvation Army, drop your donation into the kettles out at 45th, the Shields, into the Dragons bucket, and help us defend our title. In the meantime, have a great holiday season, and we're fired up you're following the Dragons.
Here we go. It's time for the Dragons Live Top 5. At number 5, one of my favorite names to say, Courtney Selbichka gets the kill and helps the Dragons take down a thriller against Sioux Falls. What a game that was, going to 5 sets. At number 4, calling it a rough day, the unranked men's cross-country team finished 21st at the NCAA National Meet. Congratulations to them on a great year. At number 3, to football, card to the way too wide open Corey Ambrose. This juggling touchdown catch helped the Dragons pass the Northern State Wolves and give them their first 7-4 season since 1999. At number 2, got to give props to senior Molly Montoni. Coming back from a broken foot last year, she finishes 18th overall and earns All-American honors at Nationals in her first trip, the 4-time All-American. Congrats to her. And at number 1, a no-brainer, Tanner Kretschmann's cold-blooded, buzzer-beating game winner at Northern State. Wow. Here it is, and another look in slow motion. Look how high that little guy gets. Perfect form, perfect arc. Pick out your favorite reaction. Mine's Mac in the back stomping this big thing out. Watch it over and over again. You can find it on YouTube and social media, but that is your Dragons Live Top 5 plays presented by Valley Imports. Just a few quick things before we go. Home openers for basketball this weekend include Educators Night on Saturday at 4 and 6, where any educator, elementary school, middle school, high school, gets in free with an employee ID as a thank you from all of us for your dedication to the same noble profession we here are so passionate about at MSUM. Also, be sure to use our Fired Up Fan Zone Rewards program at games to get entered to win a free car for a year, courtesy of Valley Imports. Can't afford not to. Visit MSUMDragons.com/firedup for more info. Thanks again for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. For our director, Alex Nelson, assistant Anthony Frigin, and myself, thank you for watching Dragons Live.